Welcome to Globewise Entertainment, your ultimate backstage pass to Hollywood's most surprising stories, iconic stars, and the secrets they tried to leave behind. In today's video, we're diving into the top 10 child stars who vanished from fame. Where are they now? From red carpets to real-life detours, these former stars left the spotlight, but their journeys didn't end there. If you love forgotten fame, untold truths, and nostalgic Hollywood throwbacks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Globewise family. Which child star or movie do you remember the most? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear your favorite. 1. Jake Lloyd, the boy who played Anakin Skywalker. In 1999, the world was introduced to a bright-eyed 10-year-old who had just landed one of the biggest roles in cinema history, Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. That boy was Jake Lloyd, but what seemed like a dream come true quickly became a nightmare. Jake was instantly thrust into global fame, but instead of applause, he was met with relentless bullying at school and brutal backlash from Star Wars fans who blamed him for the film's tone. The pressure was too much for a child to bear. By the age of 12, Jake had quit acting entirely. Years later, troubling headlines emerged: run-ins with the law, a schizophrenia diagnosis, and a heartbroken mother trying to get her son help. Jake disappeared from public life, retreating into silence and rehabilitation. Today, he lives away from the spotlight, focusing on his mental health with his family's support. He remains a haunting reminder of how fame can sometimes destroy the innocence it once celebrated. 2. Mara Wilson, the face of childhood magic who walked away. Once hailed as the queen of 90s family films, Mara Wilson stole hearts as a precocious little girl in Mrs. Doubtfire and cemented her legacy as the telekinetic genius of Matilda. With her big brown eyes, innocent charm, and natural screen presence, she seemed destined for a long Hollywood career. But then she disappeared. Behind the scenes, Mara struggled with the pressure of fame at a young age. After her mother passed away during the filming of Matilda, acting lost its magic. Hollywood began to feel less like a dream and more like a trap. By her teens, Mara had quietly stepped away from the spotlight. She pursued writing, attended NYU, and found a new voice outside the limelight. Today, she's an accomplished author, playwright, and mental health advocate, sharing her story to help others navigate the trauma that child fame can bring. Mara didn't vanish, she evolved. And in doing so, she became an inspiration far beyond the big screen. 3. Amanda Bynes, from comedy queen to Silent Streets. In the early 2000s, Amanda Bynes was everywhere, stealing scenes in Nickelodeon's All That, headlining her own hit The Amanda Show, and later lighting up the big screen in box office hits like What a Girl Wants and She's the Man. She was beloved for her wit, charm, and comedic timing, a rare natural in Hollywood. But behind the laughter, fame was slowly taking its toll. By 2010, Amanda announced a sudden retirement from acting, a move that shocked fans and industry insiders alike. Soon after, headlines began to shift from movie roles to troubling behavior, arrests, and a heartbreaking downward spiral. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder and placed under conservatorship, Amanda's life became a tabloid spectacle. But in recent years, she's fought hard to reclaim her peace, enrolling in fashion school, stepping away from the limelight, and focusing on her mental health. Though she vanished from the screen, Amanda's journey reminds us: fame can fade, but healing takes center stage. 4. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the 90s heartthrob who disappeared. At just 10 years old, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was everywhere. With his signature smile and boy-next-door charm, he became a household name as Randy Taylor on Home Improvement and stole hearts as the voice of young Simba in Disney's The Lion King. By the mid-90s, JTT was the ultimate teen idol, gracing magazine covers, starring in hit movies, and capturing the adoration of millions. But just when his fame was at its peak, he walked away. Unlike many child stars who crashed and burned, Jonathan left on purpose. He chose to finish high school and later attended Harvard, Columbia, and St. Andrews in Scotland. focusing on education instead of chasing Hollywood fame. Since then, he's kept a low profile, only making a few small appearances on TV. No scandals, no spotlight, just a quiet, thoughtful retreat from the chaos of stardom. So where's JTD now? He's living life on his terms, out of the public eye, and away from the pressure of the fame machine that once defined him. 5. Angus T Jones. From sitcom star to silent rebel. He was once the lovable Jake Harper on 2.5 Men, delivering laugh after laugh as the goofy son on one of TV's most watched sitcoms. At just 10 years old, Angus T Jones became a household name and the highest paid child actor in television history. But behind the scenes, the fame wore thin. By his late teens, Angus had a startling change of heart. He began questioning the very show that made him famous, calling it filth in a now infamous 2012 video. Shock waves rippled through Hollywood. He walked away from the spotlight, leaving millions stunned. So where is he now? Angus traded fame for faith. He turned to religion, enrolled at the University of Colorado, and explored life away from the cameras. Today, he's involved in a management company focused on ethical business ventures and occasionally gives rare interviews. But acting is no longer his dream. From sitcom royalty to spiritual seeker, Angus T Jones reminds us that sometimes walking away is the bravest role of all. 6. Haley Joel Osment, the boy who saw dead people, then disappeared. Once upon a time in Hollywood, a soft-spoken boy stunned the world with just 5 words. I see dead people. Haley Joel Osment was only 11 years old when The Sixth Sense made him a household name and earned him an Oscar nomination. With haunting eyes and wisdom beyond his years, he wasn't just acting. He was living those roles. Critics called him the next big thing. But then silence. As he grew older, the spotlight dimmed. Roles became scarce. The cute kid everyone adored was suddenly too old to be adorable and too young to be a star again. Hollywood moved on. Haley didn't vanish completely. He just took a different path. He studied at NYU, stayed away from the tabloid circus, and later returned to the screen on his own terms. You might spot him in quirky indie films, edgy shows like The Boys, or lending his voice to video games like Kingdom Hearts. Today, he's not chasing fame. He's crafting a quiet, steady career. No scandals. No meltdowns. Just talent evolving. He may no longer see dead people, but Haley Joel Osment sees something far more valuable, a life beyond the Hollywood machine. 7. Frankie Munis, from Malcolm to the Fast Lane. Once the face of early 2000s television, Frankie Munis skyrocketed to fame as the quirky genius in Malcolm in the Middle. By the age of 15, he was one of the highest-paid teen actors in the world, starring in movies like Agent Cody Banks and appearing on red carpets alongside Hollywood's elite. But then he disappeared. As fans wonder what happened to boy genius, Frankie quietly stepped out of the limelight. Burned out from the pressures of fame, he chose a different path, one filled with speed and adrenaline. Munis became a professional race car driver, chasing thrills on the track instead of the screen. Years later, he revealed a series of mini-strokes and memory loss that deeply impacted him, but he never let it stop his drive. Today, he runs a small business, has embraced fatherhood, and occasionally returns to TV for nostalgic cameos. Frankie Munis didn't crash out of fame. He simply chose his own lane. 8. Tyrone Noah Smith, the child star who left Hollywood behind. At just 7 years old, Tyrone Noah Smith became a household name as Mark Taylor on the hit sitcom Home Improvement. With his soft-spoken charm and innocent demeanor, he grew up before America's eyes, right alongside Tim Allen and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. But when the show ended in 1999, Tyrone did something shocking. He walked away from Hollywood entirely. No more auditions. No more red carpets. Just silence. By 17, Tyrone was married to a woman 16 years older than him, a relationship that made headlines, and soon after, he used his earnings to co-found a vegan cheese company called Play Food. While other child stars chase fame, Turan pursued sustainability and entrepreneurship. He later shifted gears again, becoming involved in disaster relief work and environmental technology. No scandals, no big comebacks. Just a young man choosing a different path, one away from the cameras. Today, Turan lives a low-profile life, far removed from the glitz of Hollywood. And honestly, he seems perfectly okay with that. 9. Jodie Sweetin, from Stephanie Tanner to sobriety and strength. Jodie Sweetin became America's sweetheart as Stephanie Tanner on Full House, delivering the iconic catchphrase, "How rude." With her bright smile and bubbly presence, she lit up TV screens across the world. But when the cameras stopped rolling, Jodie's real-life story took a darker turn. As a teen, she struggled to find her identity outside the character she played. Lost in the shadows of childhood fame, Jodie fell into addiction, battling alcohol and hard drugs for years. She later revealed she was using even while speaking at anti-drug events, a painful irony of her hidden pain. Yet Jodie's story didn't end in tragedy. It became a powerful testimony of recovery. Through grit and perseverance, she got clean, embraced motherhood, and returned to the screen in Fuller House, reclaiming her voice and platform. Today, Jodie Sweetin is a motivational speaker, advocate for addiction recovery, and proof that even the brightest stars can dim, but they can also rise again, stronger than ever. 10. Brian Bonsaw, from sitcom star to punk rocker. Back in the late 80s, Brian Bonsaw was America's adorable little brother. He played Andy Keaton on the hit sitcom Family Ties, starring alongside Michael J. Fox, and later charmed audiences in films like Blank Check and Fatherhood. At just 9 years old, Brian was a rising star with a promising future. But by 1995, he made a surprising decision. He walked away from acting completely. Why would a successful young actor quit so suddenly? The answer: he wanted a normal life. Brian disappeared from the limelight, moved to Colorado, and embraced a totally different scene, punk rock music. He formed bands, toured, and found a new kind of freedom away from the cameras. But fame's shadow lingered. In his 20s, Bonsaw made headlines again, this time for run-ins with the law, including assault and substance-related issues. Fans were shocked. Had the sweet kid from Family Ties gone too far? In recent years, however, Brian has turned his life around. He's clean, married, and still making music, this time on his own terms. While Hollywood isn't his plans, his story is one of reinvention and resilience. From child star to punk rebel, Brian Bonsaw may have vanished from fame, but he found something more important: himself. And there you have it, 10 unforgettable child stars who disappeared from the limelight and took unexpected paths. Some found peace, others found struggle, but all of them left a mark on Hollywood history. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss the real stories behind the stars. Only here on Globewise Entertainment. Now it's your turn. Which child star or movie do you remember the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love reading your memories and movie favorites. Until next time, keep the spotlight shining.